ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
Good evening. It is Wednesday night, and it's time for another edition of the Ruckus podcast. I'm your host, Jay LaBeouf. With me, as always, is Raging Babe, RB. We have a really, really terrific show tonight. I'm really excited about our guests, about our topics. Joining us later on in the show is two-time, not one, but two-time Olympic gold medalist Claressa Shields. We'll have her on later in the show. And we'll talk about the latest that's happening in boxing right now. Today was Canelo Media Day down in San Diego. We'll talk a little bit about that. Looks like Don King is resurfacing, and we have a whole lot of things we're going to talk about tonight. But before we jump into it, let me bring in my ace, my man, the Bonnie to my Clyde, the Thelma to my Louise, RB. What's going on, RB?
What's good, Jay? We have been excited since last week about tonight's show. We really wanted to bring Claressa Shields to the Ruckus. We finally nailed her down. She was so busy, after winning another gold medal. She was on Good Morning America, and she was like on all, and we're like, yo, what about the Ruckus? Come on.
The Ruckus.
But anyway, she'll be on tonight, and she's just so inspiring, and she represents so much that we could all relate to, the struggle, perseverance, and triumph. So I'm so excited to talk to her.
She is really a fantastic young lady and a role model and someone, like you mentioned, that we all can look forward to, not just women, but just people in general. But before we get into that with Claressa Shields, let's talk about what's making the headlines this week. We'll start it off with Bob Arum. Bob Arum, according to an article on Boxing Scene that I saw this week, he says that Manny Pacquiao, who was retired for about 30 seconds and then came out of retirement, will be fighting twice in 2017. I don't know if that's contingent on him winning over Jesse Vargas, if that's a full steam ahead, but 2 times fighting in 2017. Does that mean if he wins against Jesse Vargas, we're going to get the Bud Crawford fight? I don't know. 2 times, RB? I thought Pacquiao was retired.
No, he's not going to retire anytime soon. We mentioned before on the show that he is a very, very generous man in the Philippines. He literally loves to give his money away. So he will continue to fight until he gets put to sleep again, like Marquez did to him or something like that.
So the great senator is staying with us. So make your reservations for your fight party because Manny's not going away anytime soon. Still no word on what channel the fight's going to be on, though.
Yeah, still no word on that. Although today we did get some updates on the undercard, Jay. I think the co-feature, you were going to talk about that, and then I got another fight that I could talk about on that card as well.
Let's get into it. I just saw right before we got on the air that Nonito Donaire versus Jesse Magdaleno is expected to be the co-feature to Pacquiao versus Jesse Vargas. That's a good, interesting scrap. Both of them are at points in their career where it's do or die. How do you like that fight, RB?
I think it's a good crossroads fight. I think Jesse Magdaleno started out his career really, really hot with Top Rank, and then he kind of fizzled out. I know a lot of things changed with him. He had left his trainer in Vegas. He tried to move to California. He had a baby. I mean, he had a lot of things going on. Recently, he just left Joel Diaz, and now he's training with Manny Robles, the guy who trains Oscar Valdez. So I think it's a good crossroads fight. I think it's going to be sink or swim for Jesse Magdaleno, and for Nonito Donaire, it's this is it. Put up or shut up. This is it.
It's his time. And why not on the Manny Pacquiao undercard? So Philippines, get your flags out. That could be your night. Also making news this week. Did you say, RB, that you had a little bit of words you wanted to dish on that card before we move on?
So word about that Pacquiao Vargas card is that Oscar Valdez is most likely going to be on that card as well. As we know, HBO has been having a lot of issues with their budget and dates and availability. And Top Rank wanted to make sure that Oscar Valdez was going to get another fight in this year, no matter what. And so it looks like he's going to end up on the Pacquiao Vargas pay-per-view again, which is great for Oscar.
Fantastic for Oscar. I wonder what's going on with the kid, the super middleweight, Zerto Ramirez. Last we were supposed to see him, and then he had surgery, and no word on Zerto Ramirez's return.
No, you know what? They were hoping he was going to be ready by October, and it looks like it's going to be more like late November, December. So, if we do see him, they might throw him on like a small Unimas card somewhere in December just to kind of get him going again. So I wouldn't see him on any big cards this year.
All right. Moving on to another Hall of Fame promoter. I don't know. Is Don King another old promoter? We don't know. Can't recall off the top of my head if Don King is in the Hall of Fame. But Don King, back putting himself in the forefront. As we know, Deontay Wilder did not face off against Alexander Povetkin after he tested positive for meladonum before their bout. He ended up fighting Chris Arreola, and in their infinite wisdom, the WBC has now ordered that Povetkin will face off against Bermane Stiverne in a bout to become the interim WBC champion, whatever made-up belt they got, to face against Deontay Wilder sometime in 2017. Now, I still didn't fully understand their ruling about Povetkin. He tested for the substance, but apparently it's okay as long as he doesn't test positive for the substance during the next year of testing, because he tested positive before it got put on the ban things. I don't understand that. The tennis player got popped for the same substance, whatever. But the really, really funny part about this Don King thing was two things. One, he wants to start a new boxing series at 85. He wants to channel his Bob Arum, and he wants to start a new boxing series called The Salute to Greatness, which will be in memory of Muhammad Ali. That was thing one that was very interesting to me.
And wait, who's he going to put on there? Amir Khan?
Right.
Okay.
I don't know who's going to Bermane Stiverne, and he already got a fight. The Salute to Greatness. I don't know where he's going to magically wave his fro and find these prospects. Maybe he's going to pull them out the fro, out the leather jacket or the denim jacket, and I don't know where they're going to come from. But he wants to put this boxing series. I don't know who's going to broadcast it. Maybe it's going to be on Periscope. I don't know. So that was thing one. Thing two. This matchup between Bermane Stiverne and Alexander Povetkin. They're beginning negotiations for this fight, but he's saying that he wants to stage it in either Russia or somewhere else overseas, and that he wants to have Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin ringside for the fight.
Jay,
please.
This is how desperate times have gotten in boxing. It's so ludicrous. Like, listen to that. That just sounds crazy. I have no words.
Only in America. I don't know. So we're going to move on to that. God bless you, Don King. Whatever you want to do. The next thing coming up this week, today, as I mentioned at the top of the show, was Canelo Alvarez Media Day down in San Diego. I didn't make the trip down to San Diego because I just wasn't able to. But I've been watching some of my peers post their material. Shout out to my man, Radio Raheem, for probably what is going to be the funniest soundbite from the media day down there today at the House of Boxing. He got Canelo Alvarez talking about Conor McGregor. And if you're wondering why, he wasn't just blatantly being inflammatory. The reason why Radio Raheem brought this up with him is because apparently McGregor was talking a little bit greasy about him. He apparently said, then once in a blue moon, when a true challenge can't be denied, like Mayweather versus Pacquiao, it happens. But look at this Canelo Alvarez situation. It's an era of cherry picking. Conor McGregor really needs to stay in his own lane, but Canelo reportedly responded, if he wants to try out boxing anytime he wants, if he wants to come over to this side of the world and try boxing anytime he wants, to see that it's not as easy as he thinks. Why?
Canelo would beat McGregor. Look, only us boxing fans and people in boxing can call fighters cherry pickers. Like, he's not allowed to come over from the UFC or whatever, wherever he is, and talk about cherry picking over here. No.
That's right. That's like you coming to my house talking about my sister. I know if my sister's trifling, she's trifling, but you can't come and tell me my sister is trifling. I'll whip your ass. So if Conor want to catch these hands, and let us not remember, I know you audience, not most of you are into MMA, Nate Diaz knocked him out. So he needs to fall back on the whole boxing abilities. where he's gotten enough of our time. Also happening in the news this week, Charlo versus J-Rock. We talked about it on the Morning Punching show this past Monday. If you haven't listened to the show in its entirety, go to Bad Culture TV and listen to the show because it was a good one. And apparently you all liked it too based on our numbers. Good God. But why can't we get Charlo versus J-Rock, RB?
You know, there's just so much crap going on. You know, it was so easy to make Charlo versus Wilkie Camphor, and it was easy to make Charlo versus Trout. But now it's time to fight your mandatory, and there's all these problems. It's so hard to make the J-Rock fight. There's logistical problems. There's money problems. Charlo tweeted that he feels that this fight is worth millions. So, you know, first of all, blank stare. Second of all, Why would he think that? Well, I'll tell you why he thinks that. It's because he's been paid so much money for showcase fights that, now it's time to fight a young, hungry fighter, right? And so now he does expect to get paid millions for it if he was getting paid all this money to fight showcases. So here is the latest news that I have. So per the IBF rules, and the IBF is very strict, they have until September 8th to come up with a signed contract. They need a signed contract, location, date, venue, the whole nine. September 8th, if the IBF does not have that, Charlo and J-Rock will be given a 15-day grace period. After that grace period, if they still don't come up with a contract, then Charlo will be stripped of the belt. Now, here's the thing. Everybody was caught blindsided this week, including J-Rock, including his trainer. He put in for an extension in July because he claims an eye injury. Now, Jay, I know you watch him on Snapchat. Tell us how hard he has been training and where this eye injury could have come from.
Man, I need y'all to follow him on Snapchat because, first of all, I would spill the tea for you, but if you screenshot, Snapchat tells on you, so you're just going to have to follow for yourself because I don't want to get banned because I'm nosy. He out there with his homies. He playing with the baby. He hanging out. He taking pictures. He buying fresh new sneakers, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's being deceptive for the Snapchat, but I don't see no damn training on no Snapchat. So I don't know how serious he's taking the fight, if he wants to fight. If he don't want to fight, then forget it. Then just vacate the belt, as we've seen many a Heyman fighter do, and let J-Rock get his shot. Let him get his shot. That brother want to fight. Let J-Rock get his shot. I feel like we should be campaigning with signs in the streets or something.
Yeah, and you know what? At this point, it's kind of pathetic. You know, Tony Harrison is on standby. He is willing to fight Julian if something falls through. It's a Charlo fight. If I'm J-Rock and his team, I'm like giving the middle finger and saying, look, I just need to stay busy at this point. You know, they let this fight marinate for so long. It is overcooked. But here's the worst part. There's been no build-up. It's not like Mayweather-Pacquiao where we had to wait 5 years, but there was all this build-up. Yo, nobody cares. Like, it was hot last year. They wanted it to marinate. It hasn't gotten any bigger. And no disrespect, but neither fighter has gotten bigger either. Who's the draw?
Nope.
You know, it is where it is. It's in the same spot that it was last year.
You know, not to toot our own horns too much, but let's really take it back to last year when this really started percolating in the pot. You and I were doing a series of shows, a Morning Punch-In shows, where we were talking about this very, very topic. And we had Julian on, we had Brett on the Morning Punch-In show, and then after that, there was all this conversation about Charlo J-Rock. I mean, it just is what it is. You can go back in our show archives and listen to the shows that we were doing at that time. And then all of a sudden, it fell flat. And that's very disheartening.
Well, word on the curb is, and so Monday we're not going to have the Morning Punch-In show because it's Labor Day. So word on the curb, which I was going to dish it on Monday, is that Jermell Charlo, the other Charlo, is going to fight in December in Houston. What a coincidence that this morning Mitch Abramson from Ring TV put out an article that said Charlo versus Julian Williams could happen in December. I want Julian Williams and the whole team to wake up because y'all are fighting in Houston. If this fight happens, y'all are going to Houston in December because that's where Mel is going to be fighting. So that's where Maul's going to be fighting. So it's just time to, like, wake up and smell the roses and see what's going on here.
Stay woke. That's all I can say. Stay woke. In other mandatory nonsense news, more stories from the WBC. A story came out. Shout out to Bad Left Hook. They put a story out about mandatories that have been ordered for Adonis Stevenson and Tony Bellew, a.k.a. the dude for Creed, who was beating on Michael B. Jordan's fine ass in Creed. So, as it goes, Tony Bellew must now face against Maris Briedis after his October highly anticipated fight against B.J. Flores, because I know you guys are all foaming at the mouth to see this Bellew versus B.J. Flores fight. Calm down, streets. Calm down. I know you're excited. And on the other side, on the light heavyweight side of the street, Adonis Stevenson has to fight Eliander Alvarez by year's end. I mean, he might as well. I mean, what else Stevenson got to do besides post on Instagram? Oh, I should have given that one a move your horn. Exactly. So, moving on to that, before we get into a little brief segment that we're going to introduce tonight, let me talk about the nonsense of the day story that I read, and it's just laughable, and it just chop it up to boxing. So, our friend Antonio Tarver, we've had him on the Morning Punch-In show going off when he got popped for the positive drug test, and it blew up on Twitter. To this day, thank you, listeners, for making that our highest-rated episode of the Morning Punch-In show ever. Those numbers were bananas because we were the first to get Tarver. So anyway, Alexander Usyk, who is scheduled to fight in a heavyweight showdown, was trying to list Antonio Tarver to be his sparring partner. You know, sounds good. Help the guy out in camp. Tarver makes a little money, stays busy, keep the weight down, whatever, because he's probably still in indentured servitude to Al Heyman for all his gambling and jail debts or whatever it was that Heyman paid for him. So he turns around and he tells Alexander Usyk that in order to be his chief sparring partner, he needs some big, big money, and he needs to be the co-featured bout on the card. Now, RB, now that I know that you work in the business far more intimately than I do, and you have a lot of knowledge about these types of things. Is it standard for sparring partners to make these sort of demands to people?
Well, not really, but I guess he could. I mean, he already thinks that he is something that he's not today. So in his mind, if you want me to be your sparring partner, yeah, I'm going to need a lot of money. I want to be co-feature on your card. I'm going to need a rental car. You're going to put me up in a house that's completely furnished. And, yeah, you know, he's going to make these demands. Why? Because I'm Antonio Tarver. And it's a shame. We see this with boxers all the time. You know, the false sense of entitlement, the false sense of what their worth is. So I'm not surprised at all. I mean, most of these guys are delusional right now.
I don't know. Listeners, let us know. Do you want to see Antonio Tarver as a co-feature to the Usyk fight? Let us know. Maybe I'm just way off base here, and I don't fully understand what's going on. So if this is a fight that you would like to see, give us a call, 718-508-9852, and let us know if that's the fight that you want to see as a co-feature to the Usyk fight. Now, let us jump into... RB and I, as you guys know, if you follow us in social media, we spend a lot of time chatting with each other because we work together, but more importantly, we are friends, and we spend a lot of time together, and we spend a lot of time talking. So we had the opportunity to sit and reflect and try to figure out who haven't we seen in a while, especially following a weekend where we saw Robert Guerrero get beat by the Uber driver. We saw Angulo take another L, need to hang it up. Juanma Lopez, he's getting fights. Hell, Shannon Briggs still gets fights. Roy Jones Jr. still gets fights. All these people can get fights, but not these people. So let me just cue some music.
I know I can't hide from a memory.
There are some fighters out there that we haven't seen in a while, and we've been looking for them because we haven't seen them in the ring. Have you seen them? Mike Jones. Where you at, Mike Jones? I haven't seen you.
Let me tell you about Mike Jones. So he wanted to make his comeback. He wanted to make his comeback, but he wanted a lot of money. And Golden Boy, for a split second, was interested in working with him again until they realized how delusional he is, and nobody's going to touch him right now for the type of money he wants.
Mike Jones, we haven't seen you. Abner Maris, we haven't seen you. You had the eye issue before the undercard of Thurman Porter. Where is Abner Maris at? Have you seen him? I haven't seen him.
Nope.
Josecito Lopez. You had an arm injury last time I saw you, but your arm should be out of issues now. Have we seen you? No. Glenn Tapia. I sure see you on Snapchat, but we haven't seen you. He was supposed to make his pro debut or his 160 debut on that True TV card. We never saw him. Toriano Johnson, they took you out of the Canelo sweepstakes and they fronted on us when you were supposed to do our show and silenced you. Do we need to put some money on some books to get you out? Where you at, Toriano Johnson? And, of course, James Kirkland. Have we seen you? Where's James Kirkland at? Ann Wolf. Ann Wolf. Where's James Kirkland? Yuri Orcus Gamboa. You just started following me on Facebook, but we haven't seen you in the ring. Gamboa, have we seen you? And lastly, Gary Russell Jr. No, actually, we got a few more. Gary Russell Jr. We saw your brother fighting in some Jordans, but we haven't seen you in the ring. Nicholas Walters. I know carnival time has come and gone in Jamaica. I like jerk chicken. Nicholas Walters, we haven't seen you either. Have we seen you? We haven't seen you. We seeing Antonio Tarver. We seeing Paulie Malignaggi. We've seen Kermit Cintron. We're about to see Kermit Cintron again. Hell, we just saw Mike Dallas. They dug up Mike Dallas out of like 3 years of being absent from the ring. But we haven't seen any of you. We'll probably see James Toney in the ring before we see these guys. So if somebody can on these guys, we're looking for them. Just come on back to the ring. We're not being disrespectful. We just want to know where you at. All the fighters in the world, and last weekend we got Guerrero and Angulo. We're looking for you. God bless. So that's it. That's who I've seen. RB, what do we need to do to find these guys? Do we need to do we need to get a private eye on the case? What's going on? Well, you told us what happened to Mike Jones. Where's everybody else?
Well, so James Kirkland is in jail. He was locked up last week for some child support issues. So we know Kirkland's locked up. Toriano Johnson actually hit me back yesterday. I hit him up like, what's good, kid? And he was like, nah, it just took me a little longer to recover and to heal, but, I'm good. I'll be back soon. So apparently he's doing better. Josecito Lopez, I have no idea. Abner Mares, that fight fell through in New York. We haven't heard nothing since. He was supposed to fight in L.A. Still haven't heard nothing. A lot of time has gone by. I actually feel really bad for Abner Mares because he just wants to fight. Glenn Tapia, word on the curb is he's done. Word on the curb is that I think people close to him that love him have kind of said, you know what, Glenn, that's enough. So, that's it. Oh, Nicholas Walters, he's on the bench. He is iced. He turned down a lot of money to fight Lomachenko. HBO wasn't happy about that. Top Rank wasn't happy about that. So it is ice, baby, for him.
What goes through the mind of a fighter when you have somebody like Nicholas Walters and you're being offered a lot of money to fight? Why wouldn't you fight? I mean, I get the entitled attitude of a Adrian Broner or something like that, but we're talking about Nicholas Walters now. $1 million, $750. This is dope.
Okay, this is why. Right before that fight went into negotiations, Omar Figueroa fought Antonio DeMarco. Antonio Figueroa made like $750 or $850 to fight Antonio DeMarco on like network TV. Well, guess what happens to other fighters? They feel like they deserve that, especially fighters who are better than Omar Figueroa. They're like, wait a minute, why is Omar Figueroa making $750, $850, and you offering me $500 to fight Lomachenko? And that's where their heads get effed up in the game.
Oh, such a shame, such a shame. Do you know how much stuff you could buy with that? I don't know. That's what you get for fighting. On what planet is a million beans not a lot of money? I take it. I take a good dive for a million beans. Hell, I'd probably jump in the ring for $100K, but that's just me. Once again, you are. I'm Jay. That's RB. We are recapping the headlines this week that made some attention, got our attention anyway. We're interesting. We're odd. I don't know. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be back with some more boxing talk.
The Caribe Hilton Hotel in San Juan, Puerto Rico will host the 29th WBO convention October 17th through October 21st. The World Boxing Organization is a sanctioning organization currently recognizing professional boxing world champions such as Sergey the Crusher Kovalev, Gilberto El Zurdo Ramirez, Terrence Bud Crawford, Jesse La Nueva Generación Vargas, Roman Rocky Martinez. Registration forms and advertising opportunities are on our website at WBOboxing.com. The WBO also has a mission that extends beyond the ring, so help join the WBO on this fight, and for more information on the WBO Convention in Puerto Rico and the Kids Drug Free program, visit WBOboxing.com.
And we are back.
We are back. All right, before we get Claressa on the line, I wanted to share with our listeners that RB and J, we've been really working behind the scenes on some really, really cool things. And the one thing that we know is missing in boxing and in boxing radio is you guys want to hear more from your favorite Spanish-speaking fighters like Canelo, like Chocolatito, like Jesus Soto Carras, Felix Verdejo. I mean, we could go on and on and on. So we are going to start bringing on some Spanish-speaking fighters and boxers and people in the industry to make sure that you could still hear from them as well. And we are really excited about it. At first we were a little nervous about it, but I know we could pull it off. I know we'll be ready, but we want to make sure we could bring everybody to you. So if there are any Spanish-speaking fighters out there that you want us to bring onto the Ruckus, tweet us, email us, let us know, and we will do our very best to bring them to you.
That's right. And, of course, next week, I'm particularly excited. Not only is it a great fight with Chocolatito versus Cuadras, but the team gets to ride again. RB is going to make the trek out of the desert and come over to the sunny West Coast. RB
Listen, there was no way. Yeah, there was no way I was going to miss that weekend. It's been on my bucket list to go see Chocolatito fight. The co-feature on that card in LA is Soto Carras versus Kamaji. I mean, it's going to be so good. I am looking forward to getting there. I'll be at the weigh-ins. We'll be there fight night. Make sure you catch up with us. We're going to try to do some jaywalking. It's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a great night, so definitely make sure you catch up with this. It's at the Fabulous Forum right in my backyard, the proud fighting city of Inglewood. And by fighting city, I don't mean boxing, and you never know what your neighbors might be doing out here, especially mine. So make sure that if you're in the L.A. area, there's probably tickets still available. That's going to be a great night of boxing. Come on over to Inglewood. Come kick it with RB and J and see what's happening, and we'll talk.
You know, Jay, I wonder, do you think the ticket sales are going to suffer a little bit because a lot of L.A. people are going to stay home to watch Golovkin, or aren't they going to play the Golovkin fight at the Forum? I thought I read something like that.
Yep, the cleverness of Tom Leffler. If you come early to the Chocolatito Cuadras card, they are going to have like a tailgate event where they'll have the Golovkin fight where you can watch it at the Fabulous Forum. So if you want to come out, you don't have to stay home for fear of missing Golovkin, and you don't have to stay off your social media because you don't want people to ruin the fight for you, although we know how the fight's really going to go. You can come to the Fabulous Forum, and you can watch Golovkin versus Kell Brook at the Fabulous Forum before you see Chocolatito versus Cuadras. So, hey, make your plan. If you're going to tailgate, put something in the flask for your girls because we're going to be working. So, yeah, come out. It's going to be fun. Bring your girl. Bring your best carne asadas. Bring some ceviche. Put something in the flask for your girls because we're going to be busy. We're not going to have time for all that eating. So come on out and kick it with your girls, RB and J in L.A. That might be another spinoff, RB and J in L.A. I like that.
I like that.
Yeah, so why don't I'm going to run through the fight schedule quick because we're about a minute out from Miss Shields dialing in with us. She is a busy, busy woman. She is a hot commodity. So looking at the weekend fight schedule, on Estrella TV, another installment of Golden Boys LA Fight Club. Headlining the card is Antonio Gutierrez versus Jorge Melendez, and in the co-feature, Christian Gonzalez versus Jonathan Corrales. Oscar Duarte is on that card as well. You know, when I look at these cards, I just remember when you told me that the kid Nick Arce lost the fight and what my reaction was. I don't know why I just felt like Nick Arce would never lose, especially in LA. But he did, but he's not on the card. But he's a good kid and he got a great fan base. Also this weekend from Phoenix on BN Sports, Jose Zepeda versus Emmanuel Taylor will be fighting on BN Sports Espanol, So that if you're in the Phoenix area, make sure you go check out that fight.
Jay, I am in the Phoenix area, and I had no idea about that fight. So shout out to the promoter.
Oh, yeah. Yes, well, hey, you heard it here on the Ruckus. Also happening this weekend. Also in the Philippines, McJoe Arroyo is fighting Jerwin Ancajas for Arroyo's IBF Junior Bantamweight title. So you'll have to find a stream. Yes, indeed. And I mean, find you a stream. Not that we're advocating illegal streaming of any sort, but if you can find the fight, find the fight. Also happening this weekend, PBC on NBC Sportsnet from San Antonio. Darwin Price versus Javante Starks in the main event, with Ricky Edwards versus Kent Cruz in the co-feature. And another title fight happening in Japan, Noawa Inoue versus Pechbarnga-born Koketyam for Inoue's WBO Junior Bantamweight title. That's going to be a hot fight. I don't know where you can watch the fight. You'll probably have to find it after its conclusion, but I don't know. If you can find the fight, find it and let us know, because we won't be able to see it live as far as I know. And that is the weekend fight schedule. Why don't we take another quick commercial break? I see a Northern California number in the queue, but I'm not sure if this is our guest. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Are you looking for a website that has all the latest and upcoming boxing events, plus unique and stylish boxing shirts and hoodies for men and women? Go check out RagingBabe.com. It's your one-stop shop for the most current boxing info and fresh boxing apparel for him and her. Shop online today at RagingBabe.com. Use the promo code RB20 at checkout for 20% off your entire purchase today. That's code RB20 for 20% off your entire purchase today, only at RagingBabe.com. So join the movement and see why attitude and loyalty become passion and determination, only at RagingBabe.com.
Yes, indeed. ShopRagingBabe.com. RB, you are running a promotional right now where you are taking orders for some of the most popular shows that you've offered. So tell the folks what you're offering right now at RagingBabe.com.
All right. So last week we re-released the top 5 selling shirts from 2 years ago. I can't believe it's been the 2-year anniversary already, and we are offering free shipping through next week. And we are also sending you free wristbands. There's some really cool Boxing Ain't Dead wristbands that you'll get with every order. And if you order the Beer and Boxing T-shirt, you will get some free beer can coolers as well. So take advantage of all the free goodies.
Yes, indeed. So make sure you do. I don't see the number that she is scheduled to call in from, so I'm actually going to put you guys with some thinking music. I wish I had the long version of the Jeopardy music, and I'm going to see where our guest is.
All right, we'll wait.
Hello, and we are back. I am still having some difficulty locating our guest. We confirmed earlier, so we're just awaiting for her to dial in. In the meantime, I do see somebody in the queue. I'm just going to pick up this person in the queue and see what they want to talk about.
Hey, what's going on, ladies? This is,
Hello.
my phone's breaking up. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm here. Long-time listener, first-time caller, Jay from Orlando.
Oh, hi, Jay.
How's it going, ladies? I was trying to see if I could play some Know It or Blow It.
Oh, well, you know what? You know what? Because we are waiting for Claressa, we will go ahead and play know it or blow it.
Yeah.
Jay, do you have the timer in the switchboard that you can play for him?
I sure do. As a matter of
Look
fact,
at this.
Perfect.
We got callers telling us what to do now. You see this? All right.
We need some correspondence.
We're going to give you an extra 10 seconds because we realize that 10 seconds is not enough for anybody anymore. So we're going to give you 20 seconds. And so we want you in 20 seconds to name us three fighters whose last name starts with the letter S.
Okay.
Go.
Let's see. Liam Smith. Ishay Smith.
You get another 10 seconds.
Another 10
seconds. All right.
Oh, come on.
I can't. Y'all, the S is throwing me off.
Oh, man. Well, you blew it.
Shoot.
Let's
right.
let's see. There's Adonis Stevenson. Who else has an S in the last name? There's Jay. Who else we got with
Stevenson.
an S?
You got Curtis Stevenson.
Curtis Stevenson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Curtis Stevenson, Adonis, Liam Smith, Ishay Smith, and
Salka.
Orlando Salido.
The Lightning Rod.
Orlando Salido. Yeah. Oh, man. Well, try to call back in next week and see if we can pick you up and you can play again.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate y'all ladies.
All right. You're welcome. Love you. Thanks for listening.
I love that the listeners are telling us what they want to do. That's how you know your show is popping 10. Shoot, I'm going to go to this person from the 530. Let's talk to the 530. You're on with the Ruckus.
Good evening, ladies. First-time caller. This is Ringside Robert here. I enjoy your guys' show.
Oh,
thank you.
Ringside Robert.
Yeah. No, I don't get to call in and listen every week, but I try to listen as much as I can because I know how busy you guys are because I do podcasts of my own. So I know how time-consuming this stuff can be.
So as a podcast for yourself, what have you heard out in that just overwhelmed you or has impacted you greatly over the last, say, couple weeks?
Well, right now the talk is starting to pick up, at least on the shows I'm involved in, with the Cal Brook Triple G fight. So I have a feeling that all the boxing fans out there are looking forward to September 10th because last week was a disaster. This week doesn't look very promising. It's pretty bad when you have to depend on Robert the Ghost Guerrero and Alfredo Angulo to provide you your weekend boxing entertainment. When in my opinion, they both have expired their expiration date. That was embarrassing to watch last Saturday night. To have to actually prepare a show to talk about the Ghost Guerrero losing to a cab driver.
It was brutal. And you know what made it more brutal is that it was on Spike TV, and usually some of the best fights they put on Spike. And so I was just amazed that they put Angulo and Guerrero on there.
Yeah, so, and being from California, I understand that the Honda Center, they couldn't give all the tickets away, so I'm surprised they made it look as full as it did.
Jeez. Yeah. Well, shout out to you. You mentioned that you do your own podcast, and we want you to shout that out too. But you're right; it's a lot of work behind the scenes. People think you just turn the mic on and talk, but there's a lot of research. There's a lot of follow up and everything. So kudos, to what you're doing. When is your podcast, and how can we listen to it, our listeners?
Okay. You can find us here on Blog Talk Radio. As a matter of fact, Sunday evenings between 7 and 9 p.m. It's called the Ringside Reporter Podcast, and we also have a website that's affiliated with it. It's ringsidereporter.com, and we also have other shows that we have affiliated with that. I do a new show once a week called The Quick Jab, where I talk about the latest headlines and stuff like that. And then my other colleagues that I work with, they do their own variety of shows. So, and I always try to support top-notch boxing podcasts. If I find out about them and I can access them, I try to make sure that they get support also. Because I think all of us in this community who do our own shows need to support each other.
That's right.
Absolutely, 100%. Will you be at the fights in LA next week at the Chocolatito fight?
No, I won't be at the fights, but I'll definitely be watching because I'll obviously have a big show the day after talking about all three of those fights. With Brooke and Golovkin and the two LA fights. I tell you what, September 10th is going to be like an early Christmas present for boxing fans. And the nice thing about it is none of those are on pay-per-view.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Well, we thank you for calling. I'm going to go ahead and put you in the queue, and I'm going to pick up another caller, but definitely we will be checking for you. I'm pretty sure we follow you, so I got to make sure that we tune into you and support you, too.
There you go, guys, and I'll call in next week.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. Shoot. Well, hey, let's just talk to everybody. Let's go to the 812. I think I know who this is from the 812. 812. Is this Joey?
Hey. Yeah, how you doing, Jay? Hey, that was cool that Robbie called because I've talked to him a few times and I told him about your show, and he's always been telling me, he's always been telling me that he wanted to get on. So it's cool that he finally got a chance to get on. He's a real nice guy.
Cool.
Jay, I got a bone to pick with RB, man. I see these low to blow. It's you giving everybody boxing questions, but when you gave me a question, it was like spelling words and all that. I'm like, oh man.
Yo, you know what? You know what? You are absolutely right. And you know why I did that? Because everybody had been losing when I was giving boxing questions. Like we went weeks. And I was like, all right, well, then let me switch it up and do something non-boxing. But if you want, we could play again right now, and I'll give you another chance to win, and we could do a boxing question.
Okay. And real quick, Jay, before we do that, the topic on Monday, you had said what is the biggest problem in boxing right now, and I didn't even get to answer that, but I'm just going. It's one word to me. It's communication. And you could just basically branch off of that. I mean, basically with promoters, with fighters, and managers, and it's just communications. Basically, I look at that. I talked to a buddy of mine about that the other day. Communication's everything, and I just feel like there's lack of communication with promoters and managers, and it's just so much. You can just that's a whole nother topic. But I just wanted to get that off my chest. But yeah, RB, if you're gonna give me another chance, I appreciate it. If I lose this, man, that's 0 for 3. I'll be kicked out of the no to blow campaign.
All right, look, let's make sure we give them 20 seconds. The first buzzer is your 10-second warning, and then you'll get another 10 seconds, okay? So what we need you to do for us is we need you to name us 5 current middleweight boxers. 5 current middleweight. Go.
All right.
Okay, we got Golovkin, Dominic Wade, Martin Murray.
Murray retired.
Okay. Rosado.
Another 10 seconds. Keep going.
Willie Monroe. And Adonis Stevenson.
No, he's a light heavyweight.
You
missed it by one. There's Curtis Stevens. There's Kid Chocolate. There's Danny Jacobs.
CJ, why did I call in, man? Why did I call in today? Damn. Oh, my God. This is and you know what's crazy, y'all? I follow boxing so much. I'm blowing all these.
But
you know what, though? I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep coming back.
Joey, let me tell you, when that clock goes on, people freeze. And I know you watch boxing every week. You are an avid boxing fan, but when that ticker goes on, people just they just freeze. So don't be so hard on yourself.
Hey, it's all good.
You'll get it one day.
All right, y'all. Hey, y'all keep up the good work. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Joey.
So, listeners, we are not playing bait and switch with you. We were scheduled to get Miss Shields with us. I don't see her now. I just got an update, but I'm not sure where she is. She is a very, very hot commodity, and we have not touched base with her yet. I'm wondering maybe we should give her a call, but I don't want to catch her off guard. Maybe let's call her.
Yeah, you know what? I would say, you know what, at this point, Jay, we only got about 12 minutes left in the show. It might be better if we just push her off in the next week. We have another Olympian next week that'll be joining us. So it might be just the perfect fit and the perfect time to get her next week.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, all of you who tuned in tonight, we thank you for listening. We do appreciate you. We will do our due diligence to reschedule Claressa for next time. We have another Olympian scheduled next week that you all have been very intrigued by. So stay tuned for the promo. Thank you to everybody who called in. Shout out to my girl RB. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Remember, Monday is a holiday, so there will be no new episode of the Morning Punch-In Show on Monday, but the Ruckus will be back next Wednesday. RB is going to be in town. Stay tuned. You might get some bonus RB and J shows while she's here in town. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, we might as well do it. You're staying at my house. So, hey, we're going to get it cracking. So, once again, thank you, everybody, for listening in. We will be back next week. Everybody have a great night. Take care.